Your board doesn't have to be dysfunctional, but more often than not, pastors reach out to us because theirs is. Many feel their board is stuck in traditional thinking and that it just doesn't trust the staff. Or in some cases, their church governance structure, it includes several boards and committees with varying levels of control. When functioning poorly, that church board becomes a constraint rather than a resource. On the other hand, when the church staff and board are aligned and on mission together, that's when the church can thrive. And that's why in this video, we'll walk through some common mistakes in church boards and hopefully give some advice for clarifying the key roles of the board and the staff. But before we get into that, take a minute to hit the subscribe button on the screen. Here at the Unstuck Group, our goal is to help pastors like you grow healthy churches by guiding you to align your vision, your strategy, team, and action. And with every tool and process we develop, our priority is to help churches help people meet and follow Jesus. We're here to help you get your church unstuck. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a video. A dysfunctional or broken governance model can create additional challenges and layers of complexity when trying to establish mission and vision, when you're trying to delegate decision rights and then lead necessary change. In other words, the governance of the church, it can become a barrier to health. And ultimately, it's one of the key reasons we see churches getting stuck. Here are some of the common mistakes we see in church boards from the work that we do in churches really across the country. The first is the church leaders are elected based on popularity rather than leadership gifting, mission alignment, and the biblical qualifications outlined in 1 Timothy 3. Secondly, the whole church is given a voice in decision making. And there are multiple boards, committees, subcommittees overseeing the church. And believe it or not, our research has confirmed that declining churches have larger boards and twice as many committees as growing churches do. Number 3, the board oversees multiple staff members. The senior pastor should be the only staff member who is directly accountable to the board. Number 4, the board spends more time on the day-to-day than the bigger picture. As an example, once the budget has been established, the church staff should be released to handle the day-to-day decisions of ministry strategy and execution. Number 5, the mistake is requiring either a simple majority or a unanimous vote on every decision. In either instance, it gives one person control over the decision-making process. The goal should be always to establish consensus and promote unity as leadership. Dysfunction most often occurs when there's a lack of clarity and alignment over the roles of the church board and the staff. That's why the key to an effective church board is to eliminate complexity and clarify key roles. If we had to create the job description for a church board member, these would be the primary responsibilities. First, modeling spiritual leadership to the congregation. Every member of the board must demonstrate full devotion to Christ. Secondly, it's about providing encouragement and accountability to the lead pastor. I'll say too many times, we see boards providing all the accountability to keep the pastor in check, but rarely are they as committed to encouragement. Number 3, it's about protecting the established mission and vision of the church. That's the board's responsibility. Number 4, it's about making those significant financial decisions, like the annual budget, the salary of the lead pastor, land acquisitions, construction contracts, and so on. As it relates to compensation, though, it's wholly appropriate for the board to set the overall staffing budget. But when it comes to setting the salaries of staff other than the lead pastors, that's best left to the people who are directly managing that staff. Number 5, the board should be advising the lead pastor as requested on strategic decisions that the staff leadership is processing. And what we see is, as the relationship of trust develops between the board and the lead pastor, there should actually be a healthy give and take on both the vision and the strategy. There may be other aspects of the board member role that develop as needed, but the framework outlined is a reflection of the role and the relationship we see most often between boards and paid staff in healthy, thriving churches. Ultimately, the church staff and board must be unified for the church to fulfill its mission. Although we work with churches of varying sizes, locations, denominations, there are some common best practices we consistently see in churches with healthy and effective church boards. Now that the key roles of the church board have been established, here are some practical takeaways for selecting board members and then establishing the structure of that board. Again, it really can't be overstated. Leaders should be appointed to the board based on their gifting, their biblical qualifications, and then alignment with the mission and vision and doctrine of your church. Follow through with the rotation of leaders that's probably already established in your bylaws or your governing doctrine. Too often, churches don't follow through with that, and they simply have the same leaders that continue to serve for years on end. By rotating leaders, it will help you create a board that reflects the diversity of your community, a diversity of ethnicity, gender, and also becoming more multi-generational. And that will help foster fresh perspectives. If your denomination or church structure requires a vote to appoint board members, seek to make those congregational votes as few as possible. Unfortunately, they open up opportunity for congregational division. So rather than having multiple candidates running against each other, think about this as a vote of affirmation only for the people who we have already confirmed meet the qualifications for serving. When it comes to the church board structure, there should be one unified lay leadership board that handles all the responsibilities of previous boards and committees. Structure the board so the only person on the staff team who gets a vote is the senior pastor. Things get really dysfunctional if the staff team that the senior pastor is leading also has a vote on the board. There is only one person accountable to the board, and that should be the senior pastor. All other roles are the responsibility of the senior pastor. Thank you so much for tuning into today's video. If you're looking to take a next step towards clarifying your church governance structure, one of our experienced ministry consultants would love to help your church define a path forward. To learn more, visit us at theunstuckgroup.com and make sure to subscribe to our channel for more leadership videos like this.